Named this group after their local zip code, so that's where the 764 comes from, if any of you are interested, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of information, but I encourage you to go after this live and look into it even better because I'm not gonna tell everything or else it'd be, this crazy long live. So, anyway, they're kind of a loose network, and they've got subgroups and everything, and I'm gonna look into those, and I'm gonna do some of those later, tomorrow or something, or later in maybe next week too. But they're kind of loosely connected to a group called the CVLT, which looks when you write it out like it's cult, but it's CVLT. And then at Harm Nation 8884, No Lives Matter. The police say that they're just a larger it's a larger ecosystem of a bunch of different cults that have joined together, or groups that have joined together, and so they call themselves COM, just COM, and that just it stands for community. Now what they are, y'all, is a neo-Nazism, Satanism, accelerationism group, and it's heavily influenced by the far right occult group called Order of Nine Angels, or O9A, and I'm gonna do a live on them tomorrow at 1:30 Central Time. So, definitely be, watching for that because I think it'll be interesting. But anyway, so y'all, what the deal is, what I'm so upset about is this group, it actually they go after our kids, okay? And that's what tomorrow's, live is called, is they're coming for our kids. And we as parents and grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever, we need to be mindful of this, and just really watching out because their goal is to dismantleize, I can't talk, right? Dismantle, civilized society. Now, how they intend to do that is they just intend to incite chaos. And here's the part that got me, was they set out to corrupt vulnerable youth. Yeah, they justify it via quote unquote blood covenants and esoteric rituals that are tied to this O9A group, this, you know, angels group. Anyway, so what really got to me, and again, this is just gonna be really short because 'cause I'm kinda leading up for tomorrow, but I wanted you to be kinda ready for it, maybe do a little research on your own. But they do recruitment, and their whole idea, is recruitment and victimization of minors. Now, what really got me, I had a viewer that set me on this actually, and what really got me was whenever I read that they target children age 9 to 17. They heavily target children in that age group that are also have a vulnerable, have vulnerabilities or mental health struggles. They have identity issues, or they're from marginalized communities, that kind of stuff. So they're going after who they consider weak, who they consider that they can you know recruit the easiest. They Yeah, it makes me ill. So anyway, so their recruitment tools, the things that they use, I don't know what they say to these children. That I haven't found that yet. I'm hoping that I will find that for tomorrow because I really just threw this together real fast. But anyway, um, the tools that they do use is they go into mental health forums online. They go into Discord and to Discord services, but their main place that they go in there to recruit these children 9 to 17, and especially with, mental health issues, or, all that we talked about already is Roblox. It's a video game, and I know that a lot of you have heard of it because if I've heard of it, I know a lot of you have, but my grandchildren, they all play it. I d I don't know of one of them that does not play it, and, they're different levels of how, like, into it they are, like, I don't know, but the one that seems to just absolutely love it the most is Veta, and a lot of you on here have met Veta. She's 8 years old. Now, she doesn't have any of these issues that, that they go after the most, but she's in that age group. Now, I was telling Mischief, my for those of you that don't know, she's my head mod. She's in the background, and she takes care of me, and she's my boss. She tells me what to do and what not to do, and then I have to decide whether I listen or not, but yeah, she is the boss. So, anyway, I was telling her about this, and I said, "Veta, she's the kind of girl that, if they go on there and they start saying something that she thinks is naughty or she thinks, isn't, right for children, because she plays on the children's end of it, her mom won't let her off on anything that's not, for kids. And in fact, thank God, her mom and her older sister, which is in that age group too, but they play with her a lot, so they're kinda on guard too. But anyway, she goes in if somebody says something naughty, and she reports them and blocks them. And I'm glad for that. We need more children doing that kind of thing. We truly, truly do. But I just want y'all to understand that we need to really be watching, because even these games that we consider safe for our children have other children. A lot of times it's teenagers. I mean, there are adults in these groups too, but there's a lot of teenagers. It was started by a teenager in Texas, and they're in there targeting our babies, and we got to stop it. We got to watch it. So, I did read that some of their abuse mechanisms and their control tactics that they use, it's that they coerce children into recording or live streaming sexual abuse, self-harm, violence to either their self or to even to animals. That is insane. Yes, Roblox. Yes. And, thank you, Mischief. And, anyway, they will brand themselves. Yeah. Uh, they're not generally using a branding iron like we think about with cattle, but they will actually cut signs or, blood signs or whatever into their little bodies, and it's symbolic of, group loyalty. So, we really need to watch, and I mean, some of these children that already have self-harm tendencies, we really need to be watching it. So, they also threaten them with extortion, threats of swatting. If you don't know what swatting is, we've learned about it a lot in the anti-Scientology community. Ugh. But anyway, that is calling the police, and sometimes it's just the police that get involved, but sometimes the FBI and everything will get involved, and they'll come and, like, bust down your door or pull you over on the street or whatever, and, they're gonna arrest you. They'll come at you with guns because they will tell the police that you have made some kind of threats or whatever, and the police are going there because they think you're dangerous. Now, can you imagine if that was my 8-year-old granddaughter and Megan would lose her mind, her mama would lose her mind. So, anyway, but with swatting, with doxing, which is giving out on the internet your personal information, your personal contact information, like your address, your phone number, where you go to school, all that kind of thing. And that can be very dangerous, especially for children, because as we know, there are wacky people out there other than these groups that that will find these children because they're, you know, chomos. So, I'm trying to watch what I say. I think I'm far enough in, but, if I get demonetized, I don't care. I just don't want them to not push this video. I really want it pushed. So, they really scare these kids with the threat of public exposure. So, we need to be watching that. Now, This is a very violent group. It's not just with children. Anytime that adults get into it or, you know, whatever, it has now went worldwide. It's not just in Texas, it's not just in Roblox, it's not even just there. But they are inspiring worldwide real-time violence. I mean, there are things that are going on that are just unbelievable. And so, they are actually and some of these I'm going to, discuss tomorrow, so please be watching for that. But anyway, they're attached to a European, um, cult called the Manic Murder Cult. They're a subgroup of them, this, group that we're talking about today. Um, this group has screamed live streamed stabbings in Romania. There have been bomb threats, school shooter hoaxes all over the world, including the US and in the UK and all over the place. And there's been targeted violence that is done by youth. A lot of it is to the elderly, and it's all done to show that they are loyal, that, you know. So it's just incredibly frightening. It just really is. Law enforcement calls this 764 group a nihilistic violent extremist network for society destabilization. So, y'all, they are really, really scary. Now, I do have some slides I'm gonna pop up, and I'm just gonna kind of go through them fast. I just want to show you. This is just a sampling. I There was a lot, a whole lot, and I may go into more tomorrow, but I didn't want to bombard y'all today, and I don't want to bombard you tomorrow either. So I divided up into two, and I am showing it on Facebook, and I know that that's going to cut down on my YouTube views, but you know what? I don't care. This is one of those times when we need this information out there, and is it brand new information? No, I'm not acting like that. I'm breaking news, but I am just reiterating this knowledge and letting everybody know that we really have got to pay attention even to these games that are set up for children. And I do believe that they try to be safe. It's not that I'm against the game. I'm not going to run over to Megan's and say, you got to quit those kids playing that game. I just want everybody to be more aware. So I'm going to show you a list of some of the people that have been arrested. So, I just find that very interesting. And I did get these on Wikipedia. So, the 764 linked arrests and sentences. Bradley Cadenhead in Texas, he was the one that founded it, and he ran the group under the zip code monikers 764. He pled guilty to child pornography charges, sentenced to 80 years in federal prison. They charged him as an adult, and he's in prison. Caleb Christopher Merritt in Virginia, he was a CVLT supergroup member, kidnapped and raped, because we try not to say those words, a 12-year-old girl. He was sentenced to 350 years in prison. Now, I just want to say, if you think back at a lot of things that we've watched as far as sentencing, they don't normally get 350 years. So I want you to think about that. He got 350 years for his assault on a 12-year-old girl and what that implies. Okay. So Angel Almeida in Queens, he was caught with guns, child pornography, and neo Nazi satanic writings. His arrest led to a wider discovery of 09A and 764 links. Francisco, aka Riley, in Romania, took over leadership of the 764 after this kid that started it was arrested. He was convicted for child pornography production, sentenced to 3 years in prison. Now, I think he needed more. to be perfectly honest, but I think they all do. Anyway, I'm gonna add a few more. Kyle William Spitz in Tennessee, known as Criminal. He pled guilty to CSAM, production and coercion, facing 30 years and lifetime supervision. Good. Slain, a 14-year-old in Sweden, member of No Lives Matter, a 764 shoot-off, live streamed 3 stabbings. He was arrested and charged as a criminal or as a juvenile. Of course, he was a criminal, but that makes it so rough. I understand he is 14 years old, but he live streamed 3 stabbings. So Cameron Acid Finnegan in the UK encouraged suicide, possessed terrorism material, and CSAM. He was sentenced to 6 years. I'm, like, more interested in the 350-year one. To be perfectly honest, I'm sick of it. I mean, I get it that some of these are kids, but they are doing vile things, and I'm sorry. I think when you do those kind of things, you give up the right to be a child. So, Ching is a 17-year-old, XVN Associates, Romania, USA, and that's this year. Orchestrated bomb threats, grooming, and extortion of minors. He was extradited to the US, or extradition, I'm sorry, to the US was denied with the appeal pending. If y'all watch my show very up, you'll see that my eyes are terrible from all the chemo that I had. And so I have a hard time reading this little script on here sometimes. So Jero Jamie Tinjero. So he was in another subgroup, 8884, and that again is this year. He pled guilty to racketeering, grooming, CSAM her production, and conspiracy to commit murder. He's awaiting his sentencing. And then there's an unidentified teen in Balazzano, Italy this year, charged with terrorism, possession of explosives, firearm, and CSAM. He planned snuff film and praised O9A ideology. Aiden Harding in the U.S., again, this year, um, my eyes just flickered on me, possessed CSAM and plotted a mass casualty attack. He owned over 20 firearms. He was arrested, charges pending. And Hugo Figuer- Figueroa, he's a neo Hitler 666 in Spain. He was arrested for mass shooting and bombing threats. He caused mass executions across multiple institutions. He's not a great guy. We got one more I'm going to read. It's a little shorter. Jack Rocker from Tampa, Florida, again this year, possessed over 8,000 images of child sexual abuse. He was sentenced to 7 years and ordered to pay restitution. To who? Right? And how much? I don't wanna cry again, but this makes me so mad that I cry. I mean, I'm upset, but ugh. Anyway, unidentified California man arrested for severe CSAM coercion, including minors, carving names into skin, and attempting suicide. He's awaiting trial. And the last one is, Prayson Nepal, they call him Trippy, and Leonidas, I'm not Vera y'all know I can't pronounce anything, but they call each other they're called Trippy and War, and they're in a Inferno subgroup, and this was also this year, it was just April, like some of these others. They are leaders of the, 764 Inferno group, because these groups, they start out, y'all, and then they just split in 100 directions. But anyway, so they operated global child exploitation ring, and They were arrested in North Carolina and Greece, respectively. They're facing life sentences if convicted, and I pray to God they are convicted. I truly do. It makes me absolutely ill. So, y'all, that's what I wanted to express is that they start as one little group, but they splinter off, and they're all over the world now from this one kid in Texas. One kid. Now, I'm not gonna blame it all on him, but he started it, and then they splinter off over here, and they splinter off over there, and it is insane. And so we have got to watch our children, and so that's what the whole name of the game for today is and for tomorrow is that we've got to watch our children. We truly do, and just be aware that this crap goes on, and it's terrifying to me. So I am gonna check my starred comments. I do see that, Mischief has starred 14 of them so far. So anyway, yeah. So, eat more pizza. It is good to see you. He says, "Unfortunately, there are a lot of evil people in this world, and some of those are in power, teacher, clergy, family." Absolutely. That's very scary because they are, and we have learned from other videos that we have done that they will set themselves up, these child molesters, child predators, they will set themselves up in clergy or, teaching or different jobs where they're going to come into to contact with children and they do. So not only do we have to watch for those sick people, but now we're absolutely having to watch other children, which we know that, but I think when you really look into this, and we'll find out more tomorrow, I promise. Um, I think you're really gonna see that it's scary. Lord Kiss Freak, hello. Thank you for being here. Roblox is a messed up place meant for kids, but full of PDF files. I know. I know. It's absolutely terrifying. I'm glad that that you know, turns people in and everything. I'm proud of her, and even Mischief was like, "Good for her," because you never know, you know? Kim says, "I'm an adult and I'm not computer savvy like I probably should be. I just got scammed big time." Oh, no, Kim, I'm so sorry. I'm not computer savvy either, and I worry about that, and sometimes, bless his heart, Mark, he's not computer savvy either, and he'll come to me and he'll say, "I saw blah, 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 blah," and I'll be like, "That's a scam. Do not click on it. Step away." And at first, he was like, he would act like that I was just being, over whatever. But now he knows that I look into this crap, and so now he'll be like, "Okay." But he's still he works on a computer all day long, but he knows how to do his stuff and not all the other things. Mayor says, "Kim, my grandkids are really internet savvy, but lots of kids aren't." Absolutely, mine are too, but they really need to pay attention to this stuff. Hold on just a second, y'all. I got a cough. Mm, well, I just dripped my tea or my coffee on myself. Yeah, Kim says, "Oh my God, this is ridiculous." Absolutely, it is crazy. Kim says, the worst we did as kids doing pranks was shutting somebody's power off or knocking on a door." Yeah, I'm running like an idiot or calling them and asking if their fridge is running. Yeah, I know, right? I miss those days. I honestly I believe that the internet is both the absolute best thing that was ever created and the absolute worst thing that was ever created. And I just totally believe that two things can be true at once. And that's one of those instances. So, Kim, the internet can be really dangerous for some kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then Kim said, "For sure, I'd be horrified if someone messed with my kid." Yeah, I'd be in Crowbar Hotel. Yeah, and oops. I know, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I was almost late for this live because I had to go wipe the mascara off of my face because I had been crying over it. It just is so upsetting. And it's one of those where it hits real close to home because all of my kids play it. So Lord Kiss Freak says we always monitored my daughter's online activity very closely. Yes, that's very important, and to teach them too that things to look out for, and even if they think, "Oh, you're being silly," they can think that. But when something like that happens, maybe it'll pop into their head that, "That's what they told me," and maybe they weren't being quite as silly as I thought they were. Eat More Pizza Now says, "There are times when children and some adults think that they are untouchable and that their opinions are the only ones that matter." Absolutely. Yes. Mischief. She says, "Kim, don't forget TP in houses." I toilet papered one house in my life, and I'm not sure if she was mad over the TPing that we had done a couple days before or what, but I TP'd with some friends this house, and then the next day or 2 or 3 days later or something, her son and a bunch of us kids was there, and we were sitting in the front yard under the tree that we had TP'd the tree in the house, but it was all cleaned up by then. But anyway, so we're sitting over there, and he reached over and kissed me. Now, I was in the whole 6th grade. He was my first kiss. Barely contacted my face, barely. But his mama came running out of that house, I'm not kidding, with the cast iron skillet. I never ran so fast in my life. After that, I joined track. Figured out I was pretty fast. Yeah, and egging houses, yeah, I never did that. Eggs was too good. I wasn't gonna waste any of them throwing them at houses. Yeah. Kim says we did that in the H block in the Sea Cadets. Really? Really? Wow. We'll have to talk about that sometime, Kim. I'd love to talk to you. Eat More Pizza says protect the kids and the elderly, bankrupt the cult. Yep. Help those who need help. Absolutely. That's what gets me is not only are they hurting our children, but then our children are going out and hurting the elderly. Our 2 most vulnerable groups in this world, right, is the children and the elderly. Ugh, I just ugh. So, Mayor says pizza, it's far too easy for them to hide their location behind a VPN. Absolutely. Yeah. Kim, you're right. They clone websites and everything. It's hard to tell. You can't even tell. It's not real until you figure it out. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And Mayor says, and the really sad part is it's often kids targeting other kids. Grandson was aware of a girl who was sexploiting other kids. That absolutely breaks me. But that's what this is. It is a lot of children that are doing these things to other children and to the elderly. The violence is to the elderly, but the abuse, all that is to the children. So, yeah, I'm just I'm broken over it, y'all. I'm really brokenhearted over it. It's so sad to me. I do wanna go through the chat real quick before we go and just welcome some people that are here. Um, so Mischief, if you see any more comments that I need to read, just star them for me. Thank you very much. So, Lady Victoria, it is really good to see you. Seems like it's been a while. Evie, hello. Oops, I just missed something. Oh, yeah. Lady Victoria, I saw when you came in, I don't think you were really in the middle of it, but I didn't do like a big intro or anything, so we kind of got started fast. So you might want to watch the very beginning when this is done. Hello, Kim. Eat More Pizza, Mischief, Mare. Let's see here. That might be everybody. Oh, Lord Kiss Freak is here. Incarnasoul, good to see you. Very good to see you. Patty Collins, so good to see you. Coffee first, please. Good to see you. Yeah, they get like 6 years usually. This one got 350, so that tells me probably a lot more than I wanna know. So, let's go down through here and see if there's any more. I don't like to miss y'all. I love it when y'all chat back and forth. I really do. And y'all, if you're catching me on Facebook, come over and join us on YouTube. I'm not gonna post everything to Facebook. I don't wanna, gob it up over there, but I do post some. Hey, Ben, Bacon Bits, good to see you. I've been worried about you. I don't like when you kinda just disappear, but every once in a while, I'll see you somewhere, so I'm like, "Okay, he's doing alright." So, anyway. There we go. Yeah, I get stuck over here reading what y'all are saying to each other, and I get in trouble. What's this one? Lord Kisfrick says, "Cast iron pans reminds me of the episode of Roseanne when she whacks Dan in the back of the head with one." Oh, Lord. Mm, goodness. Yeah, Kim, I agree. I don't know how people sleep at night. Ben, you are right. You wanna see proof? Look at how many police cam videos feature kids and how they melt down so easily. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. So, anyway, I'm about down to the end, I think. I'm not reading everything, but, anyway, well, we made it under an hour. Gene Simmons invented cast iron pans. I don't doubt that. I do remember hearing something about that, but I can't remember what it was. And with Gene Simmons, I'm not sure that I want to. So, anyway, I got my dogs have ran in here, so I'm gonna go play with them for a while, and I will be back at 6:30 Central Time with another great live, and I'm glad to see thank you all for coming in. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.
Hope you enjoyed the show, so glad you were here. We meet here most days, we're but first coffee and you're welcome here. We talk about hard subjects, but we also laugh a lot. If you have a loss or win, we will cheer for you. We're but first coffee, and you are safe here. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to